Yeah. So adherence packaging is something that, was really kind of introduced to the public in a bigger way in the past couple years with Amazon's pill pack. A lot of regular consumers who are maybe, not familiar with the options that are out there from independent pharmacy saw a pill pack and they said, wow, this is so cool. And, I was telling friends of mine, I'm like, there's a independent pharmacy up the road from you that offers that service and will do it far better because they're able to sync your medications for you. They're able to, get those short fills, which you can't do on a pill pack. It's such an amazing service. It was kind of underappreciated from independents. So I think that's the neat thing that came from all of that. I don't think too many independent pharmacies lost patients over it so much as gained awareness of what's out there and we can do this better.
Yeah, because we have such a rapport with the physicians. I mean, we can get on the horn, get a nurse, hey, this person wants to package their medicines. And this is what I really love about it is you don't have to wait 10 days for a refill. Because when I say, look, I package their medicines, I need to package it like today or tomorrow. I need that refill.
Yeah.
They're like, okay. And especially now that they're going to be graded as well, these physicians on medicine adherence, they're going to, it's there. You're not waiting for refills, It's great for pharmacy and for the physicians.
Yeah. So that's the other side of it is that, you're going through the extra steps, you're really paying attention to that patient's profile. You're giving them their medication on time and adherence packaging, medication on time. So, see what I did there? All right.
Sorry.
So the doctors have to love that because you're also doing that follow up. You're getting those lab results. You're improving your ratings, which is in turn improving your reimbursements. But physicians are also being hit with, various metrics that they need to improve. So just by the nature of you being on top of your game and excellent, are your physicians recognizing that? Are they seeing benefits from that?
Not yet. They're still in denial, but
yeah.
When it hits them, then they're going to say, well, look, all my patients from Germs are doing great.
Yeah. It does take a while too, for those records to
because
cycle.
We're still just finding out about reimbursements from 2020. Come on, we're about to be 2022. So you really need to get in the game now for your 2022 scores because we're already in 2021. You already missed the boat if you're not doing anything yet. So you already missed the year 2021.
Yeah.
So now's the time to jump on board and let's start working on that.
So can you explain kind of how that affects your reimbursements? Like what third parties are looking at what scores and how does that directly affect your reimbursements?
Just about all third parties now. Not your private insurance yet, but it's coming down. It will. I'm pretty sure it will. You've even got Medicaid plans that are doing it. Optum. And of course, you've got CVS, Caremark, who owns half of them. WellCare, Aetna. You really need to look at them all and see who's on those medications and just find your BIN number for those. Look at your trimester report. That right there, work on that. Find those insurance companies, get your BIN numbers, run a report of whose patients or what Medicare patients are on these and see, who's on your three classes and put them on a program. Run a report weekly. You get new patients all the time too, so you want to make sure you're not missing those. Because that's what's bad. You'll inherit a patient from another pharmacy who's not compliant. Well, now that brings your scores down, which is not fair, and I can't explain why that is, but it is. So and that's happened to me quite a bit. I'm like, oh, bro, here we go. But I just give them a little speech. Hey, if you want to fill with me, you're going to have to be compliant. And, and again, and I hate to use the COVID thing, but if you're not compliant, you're not taking care of yourself. You have to,
Yeah.
They're not putting you on these medicines just for the hell of it. I have to remind myself to take mine because, I have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and all that good stuff. It's just, we've got to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. So it sounds like you also take an interesting approach that definitely is something that maybe is easier to do, or maybe more, maybe people feel more comfortable in a small community where you have that connection. But it sounds like you really put some accountability onto your patients as well.
I sure do. They put it on me and I put it back on them. It's a two-way street. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you, we're like family because we'll argue. We will. But we love each other at the end of the day. It's all good. We spat, but they know I'm right. They're like, I'm sorry, Miss Germ.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really that accountability is so important because it's real easy, especially, if I can only imagine, taking 10 different medications and being, maybe an elderly position, maybe you could really use some assistance anyway. So just that, keeping up with those multiple medications, you end up with a couple on your dresser, a couple in the kitchen cabinet, 2 on the bathroom counter. One
and it goes back to, did I take, and for the elderly, especially with those with caregivers, this, packaging is the best thing. They can just, especially with medicine on time, it's the month package, but each little square is perforated. So for my mom, for instance, my sister will take off her morning pack and bring it to her, and her evening pack and bring it to her, because she does have dementia. So it's there, and my sister as well. It's like we forget, but the date's on it, her name's on it, the time of it. This is her 8 a.m. dose pack. This is her 8 p.m. whatever. So for caregivers, especially,
one thing I love about this podcast is that a lot of people who
are having to take care of our parents,
familiar with all of the ins and outs of
for those working people, it's the best thing for them. It really is if they're having to take care of the elderly.
Their way to this podcast,
because I cannot stand to fill a pill box.
Can you kind of explain what happened? So it sounds like you went into this existing pharmacy. You said, "Hey, I see some ways to improve."
Yeah.
I love that that pill box mentioned because I was in a pharmacy that hadn't implemented MedSync yet. And they were just filling every prescription as they came in, which is horribly inefficient. If you get twice as many prescriptions in your store, you're going to need twice as many technicians because there's no economy of scale. It's such an inefficient way to work on top of, all the clinical issues that brings. But they were resistant for MedSync. They were like, our patients don't want that because it's tried with us, it's hard. And it's hard to change. It's hard to implement a new process. But while I was in that pharmacy, somebody came up to the counter with one of those plastic,
you can look and see what percentage of the time these medicines are being filled. We focus on your statin.
Well, no, they bought it off the rack there. They bought it to do it themselves.
And I'm like, what we were focusing on.
Your patients want MedSync
to make sure that they
want adherence packaging so bad they're going to do it themselves.
Anybody come in. Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to this clip from Beyond the Scripts, presented by the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please support our channel by liking, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime we post new content. To stay up to date with all of the latest independent pharmacy news and content, follow PioneerRx on your preferred social media platform.